Well, oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to report that I was wrong on this. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that Sony actually bent the knee to gamers and decided to backtrack on the PSN network linking and all that nonsense that's been going on for the last 48 hours. I was wrong on this. I said they weren't going to do this. I said that all signs are pointing to them not doing this. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm happy to report that Sony decided to bend the knee.
I'm stupid, you're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you really can't blame them ultimately at the end of the day, because this thing was about to get to almost 300,000 negative reviews on Steam in just 72 hours. We were on our third day of what was considered review bombing, which was obvious, and it was getting almost to that number. That's so crazy that they decided to bend the knee to this. And why they decided to do it? Well, it looks like they just succumbed. They're trying to say that they heard us. They're trying to say that they heard gamers and were listening, and they're trying to understand what PC gamers want. Well, quite frankly, what PC gamers want is for you to not gaslight and lie to us like you do all your other players. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So the headline reads, Sony backs down on PlayStation Network account linking being required to play Helldivers 2. Sony Interactive Entertainment and PlayStation listened to the viscerous negative feedback regarding the company's decision to require PlayStation Network accounts to play Helldivers 2 via Steam, and will no longer be implementing that policy going forward. Now, one thing I want to make very clear in the beginning of this video is that, ladies and gentlemen, if you think Sony is going to take this L on their face and not try to come back with something, you are highly wrong, okay? I just want to be very clear. Just like I was wrong on this, I'm going to say right now that Sony is going to try to come back with something that's going to make them happy. There is no way this corporation is going to allow you to deny something that they so desperately want. They want that data, ladies and gentlemen. They want the data from Steam. They want the profiles from Steam. They need that stuff. They want it. There's no way that you are going to deny it from them for a long period of time. They're going to come back at some point. They might pull a 180 on Helldivers, although I highly doubt it. They might just take Helldivers as a loss, and they might try to do it somewhere else and try to start garnering that data that they so desperately want to harvest, because that's what this is really about. It says PlayStation posted an update on X at midnight on May 6th. It states, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. It added that we are still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. So, listen, they knew that shit was hitting the fan. No matter how much they tried to, I guess, ride the storm. Because look, today, as of filming today, it just turned May 6th, right? So they tried desperately to ride the storm. They knew that after about 48 hours, there's no riding this storm. This storm was massive, and they were at the center. They were at the eye of the storm. I am so proud of gamers, both console and PC, that banded together and said this was ridiculous, right? You guys are pulling an absolute bait and switch. You tried to hide it by changing your TOS and whatnot on your website. You were very shady about it. It's very clear that there was some massive amount of communication issues that were going on over at Sony and Arrowhead Studios. I don't care who you want to blame. In my opinion, I blame both, okay? A lot of people are like, oh, you're being so mean to the CEO. Quit that shit, okay? Like, the CEO openly admitted that he knew for 6 months this was going to be a thing, and then decided to let it go anyway because profits, right? Like, profits were coming in left and right, and the servers were having issues because they were successful. It's a great problem to have, but they saw the amount of success they were having and knew that the moment they tried to mandate this, that they were going to lose players. So they wanted to try to garner as many sales as they possibly could, and then hit people with it once they felt like the community was starting to stagnate and they had their player base. So it says that Helldivers 2 CEO Johan reacted to the news, writing, firstly, I am impressed by the willpower of the Helldivers 2 community and your ability to collaborate. Well, I will admit that he's right. He is right. I am impressed as well. I could not believe that thing hit 265,000 reviews as of my last Hypnocast, which was 2 days before what we were watching this video. I could not believe that. I mean, that number is astronomical. The amount of people that were just pissed about this, and word of mouth got around so much that it just flooded. It flooded the Steam reviews, and that's how things get done. I mean, PC players definitely showcase that they're not going to put up with bullshit. We already know that's to be the case. That's why you have all these console shills out here licking the balls of Sony and trying to pretend as if, we're the crybabies, we're whiners, we're this. Well, guess what? We got shit done. We didn't want to put up with something, and the company didn't make us put up with it because we made our voice heard. We didn't just take it. We didn't just eat the shit. We actually got things done. So that was fantastic, and I'm proud of everybody. Both, again, console players who were supporting PC and PC players who didn't pull up with the nonsense. I'm proud of all you guys. He added, secondly, I want to thank our partners and friends at PlayStation for quickly and effectively making the decision to leave PSN linking optional. We together want to set a new standard for what a live game is and how developers and community can support each other to create the best game experiences. Now, as much as I criticize this guy, I will say that this statement right here, that's a good statement to have for a CEO. That's the statement of what you would expect from a CEO, not the whole, I don't know what you're going to do. That whole comment that he made, you were better off just not saying anything when you got that question from your customer who you took money from. You were just better off not saying anything. But this statement right here is, in fact, a good statement from a CEO, and I will respect this statement. I'm willing to admit that this is a good statement from this person. Sony originally announced due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. The grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. Blah, blah, blah. They talk about safety. They talk about all this nonsense, but you already know this is not about safety, because if it was, they would be trying to make sure that everybody in other countries would be able to link accounts, so that way if somebody's a griefer, they could be banned. But they're willing to ignore 177 countries because they don't want to put PSN in those countries, or they can't for whatever reason. But they want to make sure they monitor you, the people that are able to actually link their account. It's ridiculous. If this was about safety, it would be across the board, and it's not about safety. They just wanted to get as many people as they possibly could to sign up for PSN, and they probably got some people to do it, but now nobody's really going to do it at this point. As noted in the post above, this policy would no longer go into effect. It comes in the wake of a massive backlash to the proposed policy that saw the active peak concurrent players fall below 100,000 on Sunday, May 5th. The peak concurrent dipped over 20,000 players in just 2 days since the policy was announced. SteamDB reports on Sunday, May 5th, that the peak concurrent only topped up at 95,000 players. So the numbers were starting to fall. You can see from the graph right here that the numbers were already on their way down ever since, even before the whole drama. The numbers were starting to go down because what happens is that this game gets very popular, right? But the thing is, it is a very repetitive game. It's simple, don't get me wrong, and a lot of people like the simplicity of it, myself included, but it's so simple to the point where eventually you're probably going to get bored. So this kind of a game is definitely one of those games where it's going to have a static player base, and it takes a few months for that static player base to eventually kind of, flatten out. Right now, it went super high from popularity, and then it started to dwindle little by little by little by little. But unfortunately for them, this drama right here just completely tanked the numbers to the point where it was sub 100K. And once they saw sub 100K, that's when they started to panic. So I'm sure that this thing right here, this graph, what we're seeing here is the numerical representation of what Sony was looking at when they decided to make their decision, and they started realizing that, wow, PC players are, in fact, the majority of our player base when it comes to Helldivers 2. Maybe let's not make them angry. You know what I mean? Like, maybe let's not actually try to upset them to the point where they won't play the game. And I think they realized that, and they were able to stop it. So now that we have the win over on Helldivers, I'm going to need you guys to take all of that freaking momentum and go free Stellar Blade, because Stellar Blade is still censored. Our girl Eve is still hiding behind bars. We need to get her out of censorship. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.